Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It's time for On the Clock. It is Thursday, daily college basketball free pick show. Thank you guys so much for the feedback. It seems that everyone liked the new show format from yesterday. And of course, everyone's going to like it if the picks win 2-1 on the picks from the show yesterday. So I'm going to stick with the format, 3 picks, but this is a very special show today. And total of the day will be back tomorrow, and I'll explain why. So I had a nice winner on Rhode Island last night, 5% win. I started looking through the board today, and I was like, you know what? I see so many plays for me on this. I have another 5%er up. I've now got 4 plays locked in for today, 3 4% plays and a 5% play. My 5% play is later tonight. It's out on the West Coast. So I decided to do this. I'm going to give you the 3 4% plays on the show today, which will be the 3 plays that we talk about here on the Clock. In turn, give me a shot. Go over to WagerTalk.com, wt.buzz/AT. Grab my 5% play that goes tonight. College basketball. Had a winner last night with Rhode Island, was my only play. Like I said, I've got a huge card today. I'm giving you 3/4 of it. And you know what? If you want to wait and see how the 4% plays do that I give you here, you will have time to do so. That 5%er is out west, so it's not going to start until these plays finish or mostly finish up. So, without further ado, also someone was like, you know what? You should just give yourself 2.5 minutes, and if you go over, you have to give us the client plays. So that's what we're going to do today as well. Because I want to kind of get into these 3 picks since these are all plays that I love and that I'm betting. So 2.5 minutes on the clock. We're going to talk about 3 games. All 3 are 4% plays. And then what you guys are going to do is go over to Wager Talk, help your boy out, grab the 5% play that goes later tonight. And so let's get right into it. We're going to start in the Colonial. I've got 2 plays at 7 p.m., both in the Colonial Athletic Association, both 4% plays. Again, listen, some of these numbers might have moved a little bit. So I'm going to tell you the number that I played it at, and you can kind of go from there because these are all bets that I've locked in for clients. So Northeastern at Hampton. And the thing with Northeastern, I'm going to go back to what we talked about on Monday, where I said, Northeastern's a team that you're going to want to kind of look at here as they start to get healthy. So Monday night, they actually did get L.A. Pratt back, and he ended up being the best player on the floor in the loss to Towson. Scored 22 points and more importantly, played 39 minutes because he's sort of been in and out of the lineup. But a couple of times he came back. He really probably shouldn't have been back on the floor. So the fact that he went for 22 points in 39 minutes on Monday is a massive sort of sign for Northeastern getting back to what they should be. This is a team that, like, if Northeastern could get fully healthy, meaning they could get a starting 5 on the floor of Rashad King, Harold Woods, Pratt, Masai Troutman, and William Kermery, they'd be as talented as any team in the Coastal this year. And so Monday night they were 3/5 of the way there, and I think tonight they might be at least 4/5 of the way there because William Kermery returned to practice this week. And this is a guy that hasn't played since December 15th. I think he has a ton of upside. He was one of the guys on this roster that I was most excited about this year. And so if we could get him back for Northeastern tonight, that's a pretty big boost. And then Masai Troutman's sort of been in and out. He'll be in for a couple games, then he'll miss. He started the season on missing the first few games of the year. So this has been going on all season with him. When Troutman is in, he's very good. And so who knows? I think, the way I look at this is Northeastern's probably good enough to beat Hampton down 2 starters. They've still won games against this level of competition, missing starters this year, most recently against Drexel. And Hampton, they've been better than they were last year, but also, let's look at their 3 wins in conference. 2 are against North Carolina A&T, who haven't won a game yet in conference play, and the other was kind of a little bit of an upset win over Delaware. Man, I'm still not done. That's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Fortunately, I'm giving you the client plays anyway. I just really like this Northeastern team. There's so much upside to this bet. If Northeastern gets guys back, I think that's a huge edge for them in this matchup. If they're still without Kermery and Troutman, they still can win this game. So I think you're making a really good bet on Northeastern money line. I took this minus 125. It's still minus 130 most places. I think that's a really good bet with a lot of upside, because I'll tell you what, if Kermery or Troutman gets ruled back in and that gets out and that's known, Northeastern's probably like a 3-point favorite here. So Northeastern minus 125, first 4% play for me. All right, we are staying in the Coastal. And this one's moved a little bit. So I played Monmouth plus 3.5 earlier this morning. It looks like it's down to 2.5. I think this is a great bet at 3. Even if you can go 3 minus 120, I think that's a really solid bet. Reason I like Monmouth here, they have arguably the best player in this conference. Like, I don't even think there's much of an argument. Abdi Bashir is the best player in the Coastal this year. He's averaging 21 points per game. King Rice has been on record essentially saying, hey, we know you're going to poach him at the end of the year. He's talking to the big power conference coaches. He basically said, can you please just wait? Like maybe don't contact him till March, because from the sounds of it, all the big schools are already reaching out to this guy. 21 points per game. He has unlimited range. He's an absolute furnace, and he's single-handedly can keep Monmouth in a lot of games. And he doesn't even have to do it single-handedly. He's got a backcourt mate in Madison Durr, who came over from Citadel, that's also a really good player. So I look at Monmouth, 5-16. Okay, most of those losses were bye games. Most of those losses were to teams like Michigan State, Rutgers, Wichita State, Temple, Seton Hall. The Monmouth beat Seton Hall. Princeton, Auburn. Those are the types of games that Monmouth had the majority of their losses. And then up until the other day, they were 3-3 in conference. They lost a close game to Elon. That was much closer than the final score would suggest. And they took William and Mary to the wire over the weekend, a team that's 7-1 and currently in first place in the Coastal. So the other thing I think is crazy is Monmouth's only played 4 home games this year. Four home games all year. That's it. And they're 3-1. And their most recent home game, they beat Charleston, who's still the class of this league. So, Drexel's a team. Zach Spiker's a tremendous coach. Give him all the credit in the world. The fact that he's 4-4 with this Drexel roster, which is completely void of talent, in my opinion, it is remarkable. But it's going to be hard for him to continue to win games, win by margin, win on the road. You're basically asking him to do all 3 of those things here. I just don't see it. You're getting 3.5 points with Monmouth on their home floor, where they're 3-1 and it's only their 5th home game. I expect there to be some people in attendance tonight. And I'm just willing to fade Drexel, because as good of a coach as Zach Spiker is, there's just no talent on this roster. So I like Monmouth plus the points. Just a lot of upside with Bashir and Durr in the backcourt. And I think Monmouth gets a win here. All right. Last pick, and that's also a 4% play. Last 4%er. And then, like I said, you guys are going to head over to WagerTalk and grab that 5% play that goes out on the West Coast tonight. Last 4% play right here on the shirt, Tarleton State. That is a Tarleton State logo, not the no word. So I had to point it out. This is the Tarleton State Texans sort of logo, Texan guy on the state of Texas right here. I grabbed this when I was down at, visiting Stephenville for the first time. And my buddy Kyle Cruz sent me home with a piece. I got it right here on my desk. It's a piece of the Wisdom Gym floor, the old floor, installed in 1971. This was the original floor, and they took it out a few years back. He still had a couple of these. Very cool. I keep it on my desk. And Wisdom Gym is where this game is tonight, and it's where Tarleton is 6-1 so far on the year. Tarleton's only home loss this year was way back in November, when they were basically missing their entire starting 5. They had so many injuries coming into the season, and they got blown out by a decent Sam Houston team. Other than that, Tarleton's won every single home game they've played, 6-1 coming into this game. Wait for it. Utah Tech on the road, they're 0-10. 0-10 on the road this season. And honestly, I went back to my preseason notes in the WAC. I had Utah Tech dead last in this conference by a wide margin. So it's kind of incredible that they're 2-3. Because I thought Utah Tech would be far and away the worst team in this league this year. Reasons to like Tarleton State going forward. Freddie Hicks is back now. This will be like his 4th game back. The assistant coaches on Tarleton has called him as impactful to his team as any player in the entire country. And I do believe that, especially with this Tarleton roster. But the guy that's been awesome to watch for Tarleton has been D'Antoine Grimes. So I knew a little bit about D'Antoine Grimes from CT because D'Antoine Grimes came from Baylor. So Chris Thurston kind of, had a good beat on him. It's been really incredible to watch him play so far. So he didn't get to start his season until mid-December. He was one of the guys that was hurt. And, it's tough to know how these guys are going to translate because he didn't get a ton of playing time at Baylor. But he's gotten plenty of playing time at Tarleton, and he's pretty much been their best player on both ends of the floor. He's a tremendous defender. He makes plays on the offensive end. I think he's been like above and beyond what they could have expected him to be, especially kind of, getting a late start on his season being hurt. So I think just for those two reasons, Grimes and Hicks have got to make you sort of like Tarleton. But the reason I think Tarleton could blow Utah Tech out in this game is the first meeting's deceiving. Listen, the first meeting, Tarleton had a 13. God, that's a fast 2.5 minutes. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Tarleton had a 13-point lead in the first half of that first meeting. They found a way to lose. They shot the ball horribly, but also it's worth noting that they came into that first game on the road off of back-to-back really big upset wins. They had beat Southern Utah at Southern Utah on Thursday night, and then had to go and play the back-to-back in St. George on Saturday. So really what happened was Tarleton had a double-digit lead in the first half and ended up running out of gas. That's not going to happen here. Wisdom Gym's great. This building, I think, is done after this year. Tarleton's getting an awesome new facility, but Wisdom Gym is awesome. I'm glad I made it there before it ends up closing, which is either going to be this year or next year. Still have the piece of the floor. I love that. I have to get that up in there again. Piece of the original Wisdom Gym floor right there. And Tarleton is going to defend that court tonight with a big win and cover at home. So that's 4% plays that I just usually sell those for $20 a piece on this, or $25 a piece on the site. So help your boy out. Go grab my 5% max bet that goes tonight. That's up on my page at WagerTalk. And remember, Northeastern minus 125, Monmouth plus 3.5, Tarleton State -6, all 4% plays. Let's have a day. It's one of my biggest cards of the season. Hopefully that 5%er gets there as well. Hopefully you get on it and we can go 4-0. But that was on the clock for today. We'll bring back total of the day tomorrow, but I just had too much in the way of things that I bet. Total of the day had to move aside for a minute. So total of the day back tomorrow. Hopefully we're coming back here with a 3-0. Hopefully it's a 4-0 and all you guys grab that 5% play and cash all your tickets. We'll see you guys in the morning for more On the Clock.